Hello. This is Out of the Box podcast. I'm your host, Jim Andre. I'm here with my co-host, Bradley Powers. And we have a guest today. We're supposed to have a guest, Harold Sanford Carter. But we've been having some audio problems on his end. He's supposed to be coming back in, so we'll see what happens. How you doing, Bradley?
I'm okay, thank you. Sharing the show, and yes, Harold is our guest for today.
Well, he's supposed to be our guest. I'm getting a lot of feedback on him. I'm going to go out and come back in again.
Okay.
Let's see how that is now. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you okay. Yeah.
No, I'm not getting the feedback. That's good. David Nash says, dead air. Speak, Bradley. Say something.
I
don't know if he's going to come back in or not. It's been gone a while now. Cat got your tongue, Bradley.
Huh?
Cat got your tongue.
Yeah. But no way, David. He's here. We have a guest on the show today. Today's show is about magic, about shaman, about the occult, about the Esoteric Library, the do's and the don'ts, okay? Because the occult is not evil. The occult is there's been navigated, and the do's and the don'ts of how the occult can enhance your life.
Debbie Mack says, just dive in with or without. Seems as though you're not feeling any pain tonight.
No. Thank you for joining.
There
Hi,
he is.
David. David is in the house.
Can you hear me good now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great.
Harold's in the house.
Success. That's why I paid to come in the studio a little earlier to try to sort out any audio or video issues. But so that's good. We're here. So, David, you want to start out by telling the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Harold.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Harold. Harold.
Yeah, my name is Harold Sanford Carter III, man, and I am a painter. I am a content creator, a musician, an occultist, and all kinds of other different labels and skins throughout the day.
So what is it within the field of magic that you deal with?
In the field of magic, what do I deal with in the field of
Yeah,
magic?
in other words, the occult, or how can we utilize the occult? I mean, usually when they say the word occult, people think of evil, but it all depends on the intent, right?
Yeah, sure. Intent. That seems to be the go-to thing. Sure. I don't think that magic is something that I'm doing on the regular. I think magic is something that you live it. It's a lifestyle. We don't practice magic. We live it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
my truth. My truth.
Yeah, each man's reality is different than the next, I guess.
So, Harold, are you an initiate and adept?
Initiate. When you say initiate, we're talking about initiations, and basically
Yeah.
you're being initiated into a particular group. And I've been a part of many different groups, throughout the years. And at this time, I'm more of a seeker than an actual initiate. I'm not initiated into any particular magic school or coven or family or anything like that. I just have a burning passion for all things witchy and occult.
So what do you basically do as while practicing that? Just like guide yourself through like whatever course you want to take in life. Or in other words, you utilize that to kind of like guide you to where you want to go in the future. Or?
You mean occultically? Do I use the occult to guide me of my?
Yeah, yeah. In other words, if you got something on your mind that you might be a personal decision or something like that, do you consult the occult to try to figure out what decision should be made or something like that? As an example. In other words, you use it as a tool, right?
I feel like the go-to answer for this question is more psychology based than occult based. Well, occult is kind of a psychology, but just foresight or being able to see the chain of events happen in front of you by particular actions that you take. I mean, you can call that a cult all you want, but it's just a form of mentalism where you're just seeing a trajectory of future events, by awareness in the moment now. I mean, if that answers your question. Yeah.
Well, for example, if you were to see something that was negative and be forewarned of that, could you use the occult as a tool to turn that around into a positive and avoid whatever negative situation would have occurred?
I think anytime that you can turn a negative situation into a positive one, I think redemption in itself is probably it's a potent form of magic.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. In other words, is that how you utilize it? I mean, for that purpose? Or?
Well, I've absolutely been turning a negative into a positive experience for a few years now. An ex-prisoner who recently has been off state parole now, utilizing different spiritual disciplines from different occult and witchcraft information.
Because what we want to say is that the occult is with the do's and the don'ts. You know, you can walk into the occult and you can find sermons that will enhance your life by depending on your colour, the magic, the will. It's not all evil.
No, definitely not. No, the occult is definitely not evil. The definition of the occult is going to be something that it's hidden or unseen and hidden things. That's really the definition of the occult.
But unseen. The oracle is another name for the occult.
So how long have you been practicing that, Harold? Like last few years, you said?
I have been delving into the occult and into the craft for several decades.
Oh, wow.
Several decades. And that's the whole thing, where the common slang in the pagan community is walking the path. And that's exactly what I'm doing, is walking the path. And I don't think that, us, people that are magically touched or are a lot of time, just walking the path as a seeker, trying to obtain information. We're only on planet Earth one time, man. We got a lot to learn, man. We don't have much time.
Yeah, it's a never-ending, continuing learning process.
That seems to be the general consensus in a lot of magical communities of reincarnation.
You get a lot of feedback on my end. I don't know where it's coming from. Anybody else hearing that feedback?
I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear it. Not anymore.
Not right now, no. Bradley's frozen at the moment.
What's going on here? There you go. God, they're trying to stop the show. Harold, right? Yeah, you've been around a long time. You're an initiate of the occult, and is magic real?
Is magic real? I mean, it certainly is real. Certainly is real, and culturally, we've been practicing magic. We teach our kids magic from the very first birthday cake with candles on that cake. When our parents tell us to make a wish and blow those candles out, we were practicing, or actually living, magic from the very beginning of most of our lives in regular families. Or some families probably didn't do the birthday cake thing, but universally, we've all been blowing out candles. Is that not magic?
Candace Fowler is asking, what is real? Can you define real?
What is? Well, I don't think that you can define real because, perceptions are subjective and depending on consciousness, and we all have different truths.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, see, even Lee Grantham is asking what's with the audio. And Candy's saying, yeah, super feedback. I'm getting it bad on this end.
It sounds fine.
So David Nash is asking, so what is your truth?
My truth. My truth, for the past, my truth has changed, throughout my lifetime already, with different cycles. My truth is, that's a good question. My truth is of My truth is of redemption. My truth is of trying to reach my highest ideals. My truth is trying to be the best version of myself possible. That's my truth.
Yeah, that's right. There's more than one truth. Behind every truth, there's normally a hidden truth. Yeah.
Vic Makarov is asking, does magic control us or do we control magic?
Does magic control us or do we control magic? I think what we have here is the battle of will. And the very foundation of magic is around the will or the passion or the desire for objectionable outcome or something to be achieved. If you have a strong enough will, no other will can penetrate your will.
Yes, good answer. Yeah, magic. Those who don't believe in magic will never see it. Or adults of that. Yeah.
And he's suggesting that maybe going with the wave is more functional than control.
Going with the wave is more functional than control. I think anytime you go with the natural ebbs and flows of nature, I think that you are doing that's the way to go right there. Natural ebbs and flows.
Yeah, because we often debate the laws of man and God while overlooking the most important laws of all, in my opinion, which is the laws of nature itself.
Right. Can't argue with Mother Nature. And actually, it's interesting that you bring that up. When talking about the natural law and also the hermetic immutable laws or immutable laws that just can never be argued, I've based a lot of my spiritual practice, or I don't want to say practice because I'm gung-ho about living the lifestyle and instead of practicing it, because I want to live it. But yeah.
Have you been practicing any rituals from the something conjuring from the occult?
Rituals?
Yeah.
I mean, the Golden Dawn, the Hermetics that came out of the Golden Dawn, the LBRP is a beautiful blueprint that's been tossed around to all kinds of different circles. I mean, a bare bones ritual, LBRP, all day. I do it in my head, do it in my sleep. If I'm stressed out and I'm having anxiety, man, I'll go by myself somewhere and I'll do the ritual form of the LBRP. But that's a really good one. Yeah. ritual. I mean, brushing our teeth is a ritual. Coffee in the morning is a ritual.
Sleeping is a ritual.
Right.
Candy says, so what magical tradition are you attuned to, Lone Wolf?
I would say at the moment, I'm not attuned to any particular tradition, because at the moment I own and facilitate an online television station for witches. And if I were to attune to a particular tradition of witchcraft, there would feel like there was some kind of favoritism. And I want my particular platform to be all encompassing for every voice in every tradition. In other words, I don't want somebody from, the wave tradition of witchcraft having a quarrel with a Carillion tradition of witchcraft, and there be discrepancies on the platform. So because of that, I don't attune to a particular tradition.
Someone
Big Mac.
said,
Go ahead, Bradley.
David Nash says, so do you practice hermetism? David Nash is asking that.
Herbalism?
Hermetism.
Hermetism.
Hermeticism?
Hermeticism, yeah.
Okay, you're saying hermeticism. I mean, I would say that when one walks the path for a long time, you become aware of how different traditions of magic or the occult or schools of thought are all kind of the same thing. They're just doing it a different way. So to say, do I practice hermeticism? I would say yes, and I would say no.
Vic Makarov says, so then one's true path is one from within oneself and not that of any form of dogma or institution.
Right. Right. And dogma, if we're going to talk about the craft, contemporary witchcraft in modern time, dogma does seem to have crept into a lot of the outlines or rituals. There's that word again, where if you go to a particular gathering, say at any Sabbath, you'll have different acts or reciting of poetries that are commonalities across the board. Is that considered dogma? I mean, I would have to look in what the definition of dogma is.
Yeah.
Candy's asking, so what do you do over at Witchcraft TV?
Well, on Witchcraft TV, what I have done is I have looked up the historical video footage of a lot of elders that have left that behind, put them together, and put it in a documented place where it's all accessible. There's also many different podcasts or shows on the station that are contributions from around the pagan community. We have pagan musicians that play also. We also have Pagan Music TV, which is on the same website. But more interesting is Witchcraft TV is a voice for all witches, and so it's pointed out. I have it set up that way so everybody gets a voice, and it doesn't matter if this one doesn't like that one or the witch war stuff. It does not matter. Everyone gets a voice. We also have something called the core class, and the core class is based on natural law, and hermetic immutable law. And the reason why I've surrounded myself and my own craft with immutable and natural law is because no one can ever disagree with my craft because it's immutable.
Are you a Wiccan, Harold? Wiccan?
I would say that Wiccan is a very, very comfortable skin. I would say that it's a very nice way to live. But I would say as somebody, but I do not have lineage from Gerald V. Gardner in the sense of a fraternity or club or coven or family. So Wiccan, I guess I could say Wiccan and everybody would agree with it. They're just skins. They are comfortable skins to wear. They are labels. At the end of the day, and it was a skin that I wore for a very long time.
Yeah.
David Nash is asking, can you explain the differences of the different styles of witchcraft for us laymen?
I mean, sure, you have geographical locations where different families will pay homage to different pantheons, depending on where they're located, and then you have some families that will put a lot of ceremonial magic into their sabbats or isbits, where some don't at all. I mean, there is a difference. There is a difference, and every coven is different. Every family is different. Every Wiccan church is different, and it all boils down to the disciplines that they adhere to, or their motto, or but the underlying principle is they all are servants of Mother Nature. Yeah, all of them love Mother Nature. And it used to be, historically 60s and the 70s, especially in, I can speak for America because I grew up here, but I'm worldwide probably too, that it used to be a lot more for environmental issues were raised by the pagan folk, the witchy folk. Where nowadays it seems more based with consumerist values. Now, let me share with you this. If you Google right now the Church of Christ, you will find all kinds of links helpful about the spirituality. Right now, if you Google Wicca, you are going to have 50 tarot card readers and buy me consumerist value etiquette feeds and links. So that's something to take a look at for people who walk a pagan path. Where is our future? Where is our future?
This is actually my daughter. This is actually my daughter, Laurie. Hi, Laurie. She says, wishing at birthday parties is a wish.
Yes, it is.
Taking that wish and putting it into action is magic. I have been told I have witchcraft in my bloodline. Didn't even know that until a few years ago. I've always dabbled with the occult. It came to me first as a child. It scared the shit out of me. Followed me to every places I moved to. I got used to it and had it serve its purpose. My question is, can everyone have the talent to tap into the occult? I don't believe so, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I have a comment about that. When they said that they were talking about the witch blood. Now, when you say witch blood, you're insinuating that it's some kind of genetics or it's passed on from generation to generation. And I had to contemplate this whole notion for many years. But what I have found with my truth is that everybody on the planet comes from an indigenous tribe somewhere. When we say indigenous, we don't indigenous does not only mean, and God and Goddess bless all of the Native Americans abroad, but indigenous also means indigenous to Europe or Ireland or Nova Scotia, or the tribes or indigenous tribes that you come from. Somebody in that village was a witch doctor. So when we say witch blood, we all have witch blood.
Yeah.
Candy says dogma is a spiritual law laid down by any organized religion.
Organized religion, I mean, back in the day, from countless interviews with different pagans, I've come to the conclusion that the church was very irrelevant in the early days of contemporary witchcraft. Very irrelevant. And the church has a lot of dogmatic, it must be this way, where the craft or a pagan lifestyle is more of, if it's your way, then so it is. And that's a big reason why I feel like different sub genre communities are attracted to the craft, because of the all-encompassing of you could do it however you want it over here, baby.
Candy's asking, when is your birthday and what is your sign?
My sun sign is in Aries.
Laurie says, I am currently communicating with a specific entity. Seems unreal, but true.
So it is.
Yeah, Candy said the sound is messed up, crazy feedback. Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback from somewhere.
So Harold, how long have you been dabbling in the occult?
I don't think there's a specific day or date. I think that as someone who suffered in alcoholism and went to a lot of penal institutions, group homes, and prisons throughout his life, I think when I started to be incarcerated, I think I really started to study hard. And I think that was the catapult to utilize all this occult information for as a free man.
Yeah. And in the occult, our words to power create ripples in the cosmos, causing manifestations to occur. That's how much it works. From someone's conjuring and conjuring rituals.
Rose CC says the feedback's heard in your ears. I may have to try and watch later. Is anyone else hearing the rattling?
No.
You guys get your volume too high on one side or something? I don't know.
Maybe that'll help.
It sounded pretty good then. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better.
Yeah, the occult probably hasn't. It's the only. I call it the oracle, which hasn't been manipulated by mankind. That's with words of power, not like the Bible. Like it hasn't been manipulated by mankind.
Wendy Hefner is asking, what is your thought on Wiccans?
Wiccans. Wiccans, spelled W-I-C-C-A-N. But my thoughts on Wiccans is, I mean, it's a good situation. I think it's a great tradition.
I think that it's a stepping stone for a lot of contemporary witches to kind of go through, and everyone walks a different path. I mean, whatever path you're supposed to be on, you'll find your way if you're looking for it. Because if you're, yeah, you know, just like you'll never find magic if you're not looking for it.
God.
Vic Makarov is asking, is paganism and witchcraft the same thing, Lone Wolf?
No, paganism and witchcraft. Paganism is more of the umbrella term. I feel like. I think witchcraft it's a craft. Witchcraft is more like a craft, like a bone thrower. That's the craft of the witch. Or a tarot card reader. That is the craft of the witch. Or if they cast runes. Or if they're a fire dancer. That witch is a fire dancer, and isn't her craft marvelous? Or or a musician or a bard. You know, that is a craft. Witchcraft. Where paganism seems to be more nature in tuned as an umbrella term. Now, all witches are pagan, but not all pagans are witches. That's the way that I was taught 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
It's a religious concept, not Christian.
Candace says perhaps the inclination to psychic abilities is inherited, but any person can use the craft.
I would say anytime that you're inspired by your family, I think that that's an inheritance in itself. But the craft itself can be in various forms.
Beck Birdie is with us. Hi, Beck.
Thank you for joining us.
She says, I converse with my 12th dimensional self.
Very interesting.
Candy says, oh, so you've been to the underworld, Lone Wolf. Excellent.
Well, I don't know about the underworld, but I've definitely been in a cage or in a cave.
Yeah.
Beck Birdie says, all words are spells. They all have frequency.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's right. Spelling. Words.
Beck Birdie says, first it was sound, then light. Wendy Hefner says, I love your answers. Very to the point.
Thank you, Wendy.
Beck Birdie is asking, what's your opinion on druidy?
I think, druidry, again, is definitely part of the umbrella of paganism, where but let's be honest. When it comes to druidry, it seems that there's two major groves, and one is the OBOAD, and the other is ADF, I believe. And both of them are very, very. They're just cool, man. They're cool. They're in their own element. In druidry, for the most part, the men run the grove or run the place of dwelling a lot more in druidry. But there's also a lot of gaps with Druidry, with with the traditions, from the earlier Druids, across the pond in Europe, um, where there's a lot of Reconstructionalists with Druidry. And there's a lot of interchanging of Wiccan discipline with Druidry, and a lot of different pagan paths, that are Reconstructionalists for the most part, borrow a lot from Wicca. So it seems like the pagan staple is Wicca. And I had a news reporter ask me the same thing, but Druidry, I'm not adept. I don't know a lot about Druidry, but I know that it's led by the males. They have a grove, and they love nature as the same as any witch. And most Druids I've met are huge.
Yeah, we need more Druids in government, really. Yeah. Are you promoting this Witchcraft TV channel?
Candy is asking who taught you.
I assume who taught me a craft. I've had many teachers, and that's what happens when you walk the path. Is you come across different teachers, and those teachers have changed time and time again, and they'll continue to change. And after a while, they kind of all teach you. It's a web where there are many witch elders on this planet that teach me by their own works, or by interview, or by text, or phone call, or by bonfire. I'm not actively a student of any particular tradition at the moment. I am I am studying a tradition that is not public, but I have many teachers. Many. I could write a list, man. I learned something from all of the modern elders, or the ones that are in the Summerlands.
Laurie says it is definitely inherited. It wasn't easy. It was easy going and came out of nowhere. Whereas my friend for 41 years, I had to teach her. Some learn and do. Some have to be taught. Matthew Turner says modern Druidry emphasizes a connection with nature, the reverence of the ancestors, and the celebration of seasonal festivals, which aligns with many core aspects of paganism. While not all pagans are Druids, and not all Druids identify strictly as pagans, Druidry is generally recognized as a distinct tradition within the wider pagan movement.
Smart post.
It can take 20 years to become a fully fledged Druid.
Matthew Turner says 100% paganism.
Pagan to the core, man.
Yeah. Growing up.
Beck Birdie says, I think out of all Greek gods, Hades is my favorite.
Out of all Greek gods, wow. Dionysus is mine.
You like Dionysus?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, got the diversity, got the divine, got the parties, festivals.
Lots of wine.
Laurie says, my 3 claw lines across my daughter's bedroom wall is still there. I had mentioned that in the last session. She's not afraid of it like she was at first. Is she having inside intuition and carrying that bloodline, or is she being manipulated by an entity? What's your opinion on that, Harold?
Okay. 3. My 3 claw lines across my daughter's bedroom wall is still there. So I don't know the history of it, but it seems like just some kind of.
Yeah, I guess they come out of nowhere and their daughter got scared of it or something. I don't know.
Okay. Some intuition. She having inside intuition and carrying that bloodline. I see. I don't know what they're talking about. Like carrying the bloodline. I mean, it doesn't. What's the? I would say that I'm not someone to give advice for raising children. I don't fit the right position to say anything about that. How to raise your children when it comes to esoterically or magically or anything like that. I would say that general education is probably the best thing to go.
David
But there
Nash.
are.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. You can finish.
Do you have
Yeah,
varied interests in the
David
paranormal?
Nash. Yeah. Do you have varied interest in the paranormal, and if so, which is your favorite?
Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau in New Orleans was my favorite paranormal outing, where I lived in the graveyard with her for a summer and slept in the tombs right there next to Nicolas Cage's empty tomb. Yeah, that's probably my favorite paranormal situation.
Beck Birdie says we're all born psychic. It's indoctrination that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
When you say indoctrination, that means a domestication, or the way that you're raised, a cultural norm.
Right, yeah, societal, I guess, yeah.
Right. So you're going to break out of the cultural norms. Right. And every witch I've ever met is definitely peculiar. Every witch is peculiar. It's just things that my truth speaks that it just is.
Vic Makarov says in Druidry, origins come from the Babylonian civilization.
Very well could be. If you're interested in Druidry, you can Google OBOAD, or you can Google ADF, and you can start that journey today, man.
Candace Fowler said she received an invitation to follow your witchcraft. So I will be checking you out. Good to see you all.
Thanks, Candace.
Beck Birdie says nothing is normal. It's perspective that gives judgment.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Laurie's saying she was just asking if you thought it's an entity, not about parenting skills.
Okay.
She got rid of a plastic stand-up doll That's when the claw lines came. But I was wondering if it is because of me communicating with an entity exclusively.
I haven't the faintest. Haven't the faintest. But if you're looking for paranormal and spooky, you just might find it. If you're looking for it.
Are you a ghost hunter, Harold? Are you a ghost hunter?
David Nash says Daisy 10 Ponies would have loved this guy. This show. Vic Makarov says there is no such thing as normal. And Tammy Bonham is asking, what is your take on shadow people, good or evil?
I think anytime that you're dealing with non-fleshy entities or things without bone and flesh and meat, I mean, they're just things that are. I mean, nature is not intended to be good or evil. That is a domesticational brainwash that society has imposed upon us for, a very long time.
Beck Birdie is asking, do you work with the law of three?
The law of three is something that Raymond Buckland came up with off the fly before a TV interview show. And then all kinds of McWiccans ran with it. The law of three is the law of five, the law of seven, the law of eight, whatever you believe, that's your just desserts. Whatever you believe is going to happen. The law of three it's something Raymond Buckland came up with on a fly before an interview show.
David Nash says there's just rational and irrational. Laurie says it has been looking for me since 11 years old. I finally gave in. Honestly, yes, I looked for it due to that.
Right. Yeah, if you're looking for it, you're eventually gonna find it. If you're looking for magic, you'll find it. If you ain't looking for it, you'll never find it. Yeah. If you want to talk to dead people, go get your ass down to the cemetery, start talking, dim the lights, put the candle on, speak your whispers, make it in rhyme. It'll come soon enough. But if you never go there and even try, or you're not never looking for it, it'll never happen. Okay. You're saying that when you're trying to sleep, so that means the shadow people are there in your REM, in your rapid eye movement during sleep. Now, when you dream, according to Donald Michael Craig, who wrote the book Ceremonial Magic, great book, blue book, dreams mean three things: your higher self. And a lot of the Golden Dawn folks say HGA, higher guardian angel. That's what they say, and or your higher self, your divine self, is trying to tell you things. Your mind is at play, or a mixture of both. It's three things. So everything that you are experiencing with your shadow people is in your head. in your mind. So in order to you to be able to control the shadow people, you have to abide by something that every magical school implements on their neophytes when they first started training, and that is to know thyself.
Yeah, no, not now.
Matthew Turner is asking, out of curiosity, Mr. Lone Wolf, throughout your journey that has led you to this here and this now, have you ever traveled down the path of Enochian? I don't know how to pronounce that. Magick. Throughout your teachings.
Enochian.
Yeah, Enochian.
Enochian.
Yeah,
You're talking about, you ever been down the path of Enochian? I mean, absolutely. You're talking about the magic of John Dee. You're talking about, I think Edward Kelly was the scry. Queen Elizabeth. It was Queen Elizabeth II. That was her big thing for her court-appointed astrologers. Big deal. Enochian system. I love the system. I've hand scribed the entire system, had a holy table, did the whole thing, worked with the elemental tablets. I mean, yes, I'm going to say yes. The Enochian system at one point was my most fascinating work, and it's one that I couldn't do right now because it's entirely too much work. It's way too much work. But Enochian is good. It's good magic. If you can tap into that Enochian current, that John Dee and Edward Kelly, we're working on. And there's all kinds of manuscripts that the British Museum has under archive, under display for the public, where you can get a hold of his grimoires. It's a great system, borrowed by many.
Matthew Turner says, excellent. Indeed, it is a very difficult system. It's absolutely badass, bro. Yeah.
If you're trying to grow with the Enochian system Magick, I would highly recommend magician and great musician, Lon Milo Duquette, who he has a show on our Witchcraft TV networks. But he has written several books on Enochian magic, which personally I've been a scholar of 15, 20 years ago. Great learning curves if you're trying to get in, in a mind state of the elements or it's just so, I don't even know where they came up with that stuff. Enochian is good stuff. It affects you.
Okay, we're just about coming up at the top of the hour.
It's been jazzy, man. It's been jazzy. Thanks for having me on, you guys.
The show. Thank you, Lone Wolf, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for your interactions. And we'll have you on again one day. And I got a feeling that Matt may want you on too, to do an interview with you in the near future.
Okay.
So, thanks again, everybody. We'll see you all in the next one.